You're not running out of time, you're wasting it. Every second that slips through your fingers is a chance to change your life that you'll never get back. If you've ever felt like time just disappears, stick around, because what I'm about to share could change the way you live your life forever. Time. It's the one thing we all have in common, rich or poor, young or old. Everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. But here's the thing, most people spend their time like it's endless, as if there's always tomorrow to do what really matters. Today we're diving into why time is your most valuable asset, and more importantly, how to protect it, value it, and use it to create the life you truly want. 1. Time is your most valuable currency. Imagine this every single morning. You wake up to find $86,400 deposited into your bank account. No strings attached. It's yours to use however you want. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch, you can't save it. Whatever you don't spend by the end of the day disappears forever. Gone, wiped out. And no matter how much you plead or wish, you can't get it back. Now let me tell you a secret, you already have something just as valuable, maybe even more so. It's called time. Every single day you're gifted 86,400 seconds. That's 24 hours to do whatever you want with your life. Yet, most of us don't treat our time like it's precious currency. We waste it on things that don't matter, endless social media scrolling, procrastination, binge watching TV shows, or worrying about things we can't control. Here's the brutal truth, time is the only resource you'll never get back. Lose money and you can earn it again. Lose possessions and you can replace them. But lose time and it's gone forever. Every second wasted is a lost opportunity, an opportunity to grow, to learn, to connect, to create, to make your life better. Why do so many of us treat our time so casually? It's because we don't feel the urgency. When you're young, you think you have all the time in the world. But let me ask you this, if someone handed you $86,400 every day, would you just throw it away on meaningless purchases? Or would you use it wisely, investing in things that truly matter, things that bring value to your life and the lives of others? Let's break it down even further. Suppose you spend an hour mindlessly scrolling through social media. That's 3,600 seconds you'll never get back. Spend a weekend binge watching a series, and there go tens of thousands of seconds. Multiply that over weeks, months, and years, and you start to see the cost of wasting time. Imagine what you could achieve if you used that time intentionally. Think about the people who achieve great things. They don't have more hours in the day than you do. They don't have a secret stash of extra time. The difference is how they value and spend their 86,400 seconds. They treat time as a non-renewable resource and invest it in things that matter, building skills, nurturing relationships, taking care of their health, and working toward their goals. Here's the challenge, start thinking of your time as money. Each second is a penny, and every day you get a pile of 86,400 pennies to spend. The question is, where are you going to spend it? Are you investing it in your dreams, your growth, and your happiness? Or are you frittering it away on things that don't move you forward? The great irony is that the people who say they don't have enough time are often the ones wasting it the most. They claim they're too busy to pursue their goals, but somehow they find hours to watch TV or scroll through their phones. It's not about having time, it's about making time. And that starts with recognizing how valuable your time truly is. Think about this, if you don't value your time, no one else will either. People will waste your time if you let them. Meetings that go nowhere, commitments you didn't really want to make, toxic relationships that drain your energy, all of these are ways we let others spend our precious time for us. Learn to say no. Learn to protect your time as fiercely as you would protect your money. Start small. Begin by asking yourself a simple question every time you're about to do something. Is this worth my time? If the answer is no, don't do it. Shift your focus to things that bring you closer to your goals, bring joy to your life, or add value to the lives of others. Here's another powerful exercise: track your time. For 1 week, write down everything you do and how long you spend on it. You might be shocked at how much time you waste on things that don't matter. But awareness is the first step to change. Once you see where your time is going, you can start redirecting it toward more meaningful pursuits. Lastly, remember that valuing your time isn't just about being productive. It's also about being present, spending time with loved ones, enjoying a hobby, or simply taking a moment to breathe and reflect. These are all valuable uses of your time. The key is to be intentional. Don't let time slip away unnoticed. Treat it like the treasure it is. Every day you have a choice. You can let time control you, or you can take control of your time. You can spend it on things that matter, or you can waste it on things that don't. The choice is yours, and the clock is ticking. What will you do with your 86,400 seconds today? 2. The illusion of someday. Someday. It's a word we've all used, and it's one of the biggest traps we fall into. Someday I'll start working out, someday I'll follow my passion, someday I'll spend more time with my family. But here's the thing: someday doesn't exist. It's not a real day on the calendar. It's a placeholder for inaction. A lie we tell ourselves to feel better about not doing what we know we should. Think about it. How many times have you said you'll do something someday only to realize that weeks, months, or even years have passed and you still haven't done it? The harsh truth is that someday never comes. Life doesn't pause while you wait for the perfect moment. The clock keeps ticking, and every day you delay, you lose an opportunity you'll never get back. Why do we fall for the illusion of someday? It's because it feels safe. It lets us avoid the discomfort of taking action. Starting something new is scary. It requires effort, risk, and the possibility of failure. But telling yourself you'll do it someday allows you to stay in your comfort zone while still holding on to the illusion that you're going to do it eventually. Here's the problem: comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you step out of that safety bubble and take action, even when it's hard. Let's get real for a moment. How many somedays have you promised yourself? How many of those promises have you actually kept? The truth is, someday is just a way of procrastinating. It's a way of putting off the hard work until later, but later never comes. If you want to break free from the illusion of someday, you need to start replacing it with a specific date. Instead of saying, someday I'll write a book, say, on January 1st, I'll start writing 1 page a day. Instead of saying, someday I'll get in shape, say, tomorrow at 7 a.m., I'll go for a 20-minute walk. The key is to take action now, no matter how small. Waiting for the perfect moment is a fool's game because the perfect moment doesn't exist. Conditions will never be ideal. You'll always have doubts. There will always be obstacles. But you don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need to start. Here's a powerful mindset shift: treat every day like it's your last chance to make progress. Imagine looking back on your life and realizing that you let countless opportunities slip away because you were waiting for someday. Wouldn't that be heartbreaking? Don't let that happen to you. Remember, the only thing standing between you and your goals is action. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop lying to yourself about someday. The time to start is now. The question is, will you? 3. The power of priorities. What you say matters to you, and what your actions reveal often tell 2 different stories. It's easy to say, my family comes first, or I'm committed to my goals, but if someone followed you around for a week, would your actions back that up? If you claim to prioritize success but spend hours scrolling through your phone, Are you truly focused? If you say health is important but skip workouts or eat junk food regularly, are you living your values? The truth is, your priorities aren't what you say they are, they're what your actions reveal. Time is the ultimate litmus test. It doesn't lie and it doesn't bend to intentions. How you spend your time is the most accurate reflection of what truly matters to you. Let's break it down. Imagine your time as a budget. Just like you manage your finances to make room for essentials like rent, food, and savings, you need to allocate your time for the things that matter most. But here's the problem. Most people spend their time impulsively on things that feel urgent but aren't important. They put out fires, respond to every notification, or engage in activities that feel productive but lead nowhere. Think about this. If your time is consumed by meetings that don't contribute to your goals, endless TV shows, or gossiping about things you can't change, then you're not just wasting time, you're mismanaging your priorities. Every moment spent on distractions is a moment stolen from what truly matters. Here's a simple exercise to uncover your real priorities. Take out a piece of paper and write down what you say your top 5 priorities are. Maybe it's family, career, health, personal growth, or relationships. Now look at how you spent your last week. Break it down hour by hour. How much time did you actually devote to each of those priorities? For most people, there's a massive disconnect between what they say is important and how they actually spend their time. So how do you fix it? The first step is clarity. Get crystal clear about what truly matters to you. Not what society says should matter. Not what other people expect of you. What truly matters to you. Is it your family, your health, your dreams? Write it down, make it visible. Once you're clear on your priorities, the next step is alignment. Ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with what I say matters most? If not, it's time for a change. This doesn't mean overhauling your life overnight. It means making intentional choices every day. Here's an example. If family is your priority, schedule uninterrupted time with them. Put your phone away, be present, and give them your full attention. If your health matters, carve out time for exercise and prepare nutritious meals. If you're committed to your goals, block out time every day to work on them, no matter what. One powerful tool to align your actions with your priorities is the concept of the big rocks. Imagine a jar. If you fill it with sand, small, trivial tasks, there's no room for the big rocks, your priorities. But if you put the big rocks in first, the sand will fill the gaps around them. The same applies to your time. Schedule your big rocks first, the things that matter most, and let everything else fit around them. Here's the kicker. Prioritizing doesn't mean you'll never have distractions or unimportant tasks. It means you're intentional about where your time goes. You control your time instead of letting it control you. Remember, life isn't just about being busy, it's about being productive in the areas that matter. The busiest people aren't always the most successful. It's the people who focus on their priorities who achieve meaningful results. Ultimately, the power of priorities comes down to this. If you don't decide what's important in your life, someone else will decide for you. The world is full of demands and distractions. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life working on someone else's priorities instead of your own. Don't let that happen. Take control. Be intentional. Live a life that reflects what truly matters to you. 4, time waits for no one. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't slow down for your bad days, your doubts, or your fears. It doesn't pause while you figure things out. Time is relentless and it keeps moving forward, whether you're ready or not. The question is, are you moving with it? Here's a hard truth. Time doesn't wait for you to be ready. You might think, I'll start when I feel more confident, or I'll act when the circumstances are perfect, but guess what? Perfect circumstances don't exist. Confidence doesn't magically appear, it's built through action. think of a river flowing endlessly. If you stand still, the river doesn't stop for you. It keeps moving, carrying opportunities past you while you hesitate. Life is the same. Every moment you wait, the clock keeps ticking and the world keeps moving. Successful people understand this. They don't waste time waiting for the perfect moment because they know it will never come. Instead, they act with urgency. They take imperfect action, learn from their mistakes, and adjust as they go. They understand that the longer they wait, the harder it becomes to catch up. Let me ask you, how many dreams have you postponed because you thought you had time? How many opportunities have you missed because you waited too long? The truth is, most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right opportunity. And in that waiting, they let life pass them by. Time is unforgiving. It doesn't care if you're tired, scared, or uncertain. It doesn't care about your plans or your dreams. The clock keeps ticking, and the only question is, what are you doing with the time you've been given? Here's the good news: while you can't stop time, you can make the most of it. It starts with a mindset shift. Stop thinking you have all the time in the world. Treat every day like it's a gift, because it is. Wake up each morning with a sense of urgency. Ask yourself, what can I do today to move closer to my goals? One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating how quickly time passes. Have you ever looked back and thought, where did the time go? Weeks turn into months, months into years, and before you know it, a decade has passed. I don't let that happen to you. Here's a practical exercise. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Picture the life you want, the goals you've achieved, the person you become. Now ask yourself, what would that future version of me wish I had started today? Whatever the answer is, start now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Another key to making the most of your time is focus. Don't spread yourself too thin trying to do everything. Instead, focus on what truly matters. Prioritize the tasks and activities that align with your goals and values. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Finally, remember, this time is the great equalizer. No matter who you are, you get the same 24 hours in a day. What sets people apart is how they use those hours. The question isn't whether you have time, it's whether you're making time for what truly matters. Time waits for no one. But you don't have to wait either. Start now. Take action. Make the most of the moments you have, because once they're gone forever. The clock is ticking. What will you do with the time you have left? 5. The 80/20 rule for your life. The 80/20 rule, or the Pareto principle, is often talked about in business, but its relevance to life is profound. The idea is simple: 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. The question is, are you spending your time on the 20% that truly matters, or are you lost in the 80% of trivial tasks that make little difference? Let's start with a simple example. Think about your workday. Out of all the tasks you do, how many actually contribute to meaningful outcomes? Chances are, a small handful of tasks are responsible for the majority of your success, yet many people spend their time on emails, unnecessary meetings, or busy work that doesn't matter. This isn't just about work, it applies to every area of life. Take relationships, for instance. Not all relationships are equal. A few close connections bring the most joy, support, and growth to your life. Yet, many people spend their time trying to please everyone, investing energy into relationships that offer little in return. Here's the harsh truth: time spent on low-impact activities is time stolen from high-impact ones. And if you don't identify the 20% of actions that truly move the needle, you'll waste your life on things that don't matter. So how do you apply the 80/20 rule to your life? Start with awareness. Take a close look at how you're spending your time. Break it down into categories: work, relationships, health, personal growth, leisure. Within each category, ask yourself, what are the few key activities that bring the most results? For example, at work, it might be creative problem solving or strategic planning, not responding to endless emails. In relationships, it could be quality time with loved ones, not shallow interactions with acquaintances. For health, it might be regular exercise and balanced nutrition, not obsessing over the latest health fads. Once you've identified your 20%, the next step is to double down on those activities. Protect your time for the things that matter. That might mean setting boundaries, delegating tasks, or even letting go of certain responsibilities. But here's the challenge: letting go of the 80% isn't easy. There's a psychological pull to stay busy, to feel like you're doing something, even if it's not productive. Many people mistake activity for achievement. They think, if I'm working hard, I must be making progress, but hard work on the wrong things is still wasted effort. One way to overcome this is to reframe your thinking. Instead of asking, what can I do today, ask, what can I do today that truly matters? This subtle shift forces you to prioritize the 20% that drives results. Another key is to regularly audit your time. Just like businesses review their finances to cut unnecessary expenses, you should review your schedule to cut unnecessary activities. Are there meetings you don't need to attend? Tasks you can delegate? Commitments you can decline? Speaking of commitments, let's talk about the people in your life. The 80/20 rule applies here too. Not everyone you know contributes equally to your happiness or growth. In fact, a small percentage of people likely bring you the most joy and support, while others drain your energy. It's not about cutting people out, but about being intentional with your time. Spend more of it with the people who truly matter. Now, let's address one of the biggest objections: but what about everything else? Doesn't the 80% still need to get done? The answer is yes, but not necessarily by you. This is where delegation and simplification come in. You don't have to do everything yourself. Focus on your strengths, your 20%, and find ways to streamline or delegate the rest. Remember, the 80/20 rule isn't about doing less, it's about doing more of the right things. It's about maximizing your impact, not your effort. When you focus on the 20% that matters, you'll find that you achieve more with less stress and less time. So take control of your life. Identify your 20%, focus on it relentlessly, and let the rest fade into the background. Your time is too valuable to waste on the trivial. 6. Stop saying yes to everything. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Think about that for a moment. Time is finite. Every yes you give takes a slice of your day. Are the things you're saying yes to truly worth it? For many people, the answer is no. They say yes out of obligation, fear of disappointing others, or simply out of habit. But here's the thing: saying yes to everything doesn't make you generous, it makes you overwhelmed. Let's break it down. When you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're essentially borrowing time from what truly matters. Saying yes to a project at work you don't believe in might mean saying no to quality time with your family. Saying yes to a social event you don't want to attend might mean saying no to rest or self-care. The problem isn't that people ask too much of you, it's that you haven't learned to protect your time. Here's a simple truth: not every opportunity is a good one. Not every invitation deserves a yes. And not every request for your time is your responsibility. The ability to say no is one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your time and focus. But let's be honest, saying no isn't easy. It can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're worried about letting people down. You might fear being seen as selfish or uncooperative. But here's the reality: saying no to the wrong things is the only way to say yes to the right things. Start by setting clear boundaries. Know what you're willing to commit to and what you're not. When someone asks for your time, evaluate the request. Does it align with your goals and values? Is it worth the time and energy it will take? If the answer is no, then say no politely but firmly. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I'm not sure, maybe I can help, try saying, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take that on right now. It's simple, respectful, and leaves no room for guilt. Another powerful strategy is to create a not-to-do list. Most people have a to-do list, but few have a list of things they've decided not to do. Write down the tasks, commitments, or habits that drain your time without adding value. Review this list regularly to remind yourself of what you're saying no to and why. One of the biggest benefits of saying no is the space it creates for the things that truly matter. When you stop overcommitting, you free up time and energy for your priorities. You gain clarity, focus, and the ability to give your best to the things that deserve it. But remember, saying no isn't about shutting people out or refusing to help. It's about being intentional with your time. It's about recognizing that you can't do everything, and that's okay. Here's the bottom line: your time is your most precious resource. Protect it fiercely. Learn to say no to the things that don't matter so you can say yes to the things that do. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Stop saying yes to everything. Start saying yes to the life you truly want. 7. The compound effect of small actions. If there's one principle that defines success in any area of life, it's this: small, consistent actions lead to big, lasting results. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can achieve in a year with steady effort. This is the compound effect in action, a concept so simple yet incredibly powerful. Think about planting a tree. On the first day, you dig a hole, place the seed, and cover it with soil. You water it. The next day you water it again, nothing seems to happen. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and still you see little progress. But one day a tiny sprout emerges. Over time, that sprout becomes a tree, providing shade and fruit. That's the power of consistent effort. In life, the same principle applies. Want to get healthier? You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Start small. A 10-minute walk every day might seem insignificant at first, but over a year, that's over 60 hours of walking. Pair that with one healthier meal a day, and you'll see a transformation not just in your body, but in your mindset. Or take skill development. Say you want to improve your knowledge. Reading 10 pages of a book daily doesn't feel like much, but in a year, that's 3,650 pages, equivalent to 12 to 15 books. Imagine the knowledge you'd gain by simply dedicating 15 minutes of your day to reading. The beauty of the compound effect is its neutrality. It doesn't care if your habits are positive or negative. The results will compound either way. If you spend 30 minutes scrolling social media every day, that adds up to over 180 hours a year time you could have spent learning a skill, building relationships, or improving yourself. Here's the trap most people fall into: they dismiss small actions because they seem insignificant in the moment. Missing one workout doesn't seem like a big deal until you miss another and another. Eating one unhealthy meal won't harm you until it becomes a habit. These small choices, made consistently, shape your life more than any single big decision. So how do you harness the compound effect for your benefit? Start by identifying one small action you can take today. It doesn't have to be grand or life-changing, it just has to be consistent. Maybe it's drinking more water, spending 5 minutes meditating, or sending a message to someone you care about. Next, commit to it. The key is consistency, not intensity. It's better to walk for 10 minutes every day than to run for an hour once a month. It's better to read 1 page daily than to binge read a book and never touch another. Here's where many people struggle. They expect immediate results. But the compound effect doesn't work that way. It's like filling a jar with drops of water. At first it seems empty, but drop by drop it fills. One day it overflows. That's how progress works. To stay motivated, track your progress. Write down your small actions every day. Over time, you'll see how these tiny efforts add up. Celebrate the milestones, no matter how small. They're proof that you're moving in the right direction. But there's another side to this. Be mindful of negative habits. Just as positive actions compound, so do negative ones. Skipping workouts, indulging in unhealthy snacks, or procrastinating on tasks, they all add up, often without you realizing it. The good news? The same principle that allows bad habits to grow can help you replace them with good ones. Remember, the compound effect isn't a quick fix, it's a long-term strategy. It requires patience, discipline, and faith in the process. But the results are worth it. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you started making small, positive changes today. So take control of your actions, make them intentional. Harness the power of the compound effect to create the life you want, one small step at a time. 8. The danger of distractions. Distractions are everywhere. They come in the form of social media, constant notifications, unnecessary meetings, and even our own wandering thoughts. And while they might seem harmless in the moment, they are in fact the greatest thieves of your time. If you don't take control of your focus, distractions will. Think about your average day. How often do you pick up your phone to check a notification only to find yourself scrolling through apps for 20 minutes? How many times do you start a task only to be interrupted by an email or a random thought? These small interruptions add up, chipping away at your productivity and focus. But the real danger of distractions isn't just the time they steal, it's the momentum they break. Every time you switch tasks or get interrupted, your brain has to refocus. Research shows it can take up to 25 minutes to regain full focus after a distraction. Imagine how much time and mental energy you're losing daily. Here's the harsh truth: if you don't control your time, someone else will. Social media platforms are designed to keep you hooked. Notifications are engineered to grab your attention. Even people in your life, though well-meaning, can pull you away from your priorities with their requests and interruptions. So how do you fight back? Start by creating boundaries. Turn off non-essential notifications. Set specific times to check emails or social media instead of letting them dictate your day. If you're working on something important, put your phone in another room. Next, identify your biggest distractions. Is it your phone? The endless stream of emails? The urge to multitask? Once you know what pulls you away from focus, take steps to minimize it. For example, if your phone is a distraction, use apps or settings to limit your screen time. If emails disrupt your flow, dedicate specific blocks of time to check and respond to them instead of letting them interrupt your work. Another powerful strategy is to practice deep work. This means dedicating focused, uninterrupted time to your most important tasks. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Set a timer, eliminate distractions, and immerse yourself in the task at hand. You'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish in a shorter amount of time. But let's not forget about internal distractions, those moments when your mind wanders, replaying past mistakes or worrying about the future. These can be just as disruptive as external distractions. The key is mindfulness. When you notice your thoughts drifting, gently bring them back to the present. Here's a simple exercise. Before starting a task, take a minute to breathe deeply and set your intention. Remind yourself why the task matters and commit to giving it your full focus. Finally, remember that not all distractions are bad. Sometimes a break or a change of scenery can recharge your energy and improve your focus. The difference is whether you're choosing the distraction intentionally or letting it choose you. In the end, distractions are inevitable. The goal isn't to eliminate them completely, that's impossible. The goal is to manage them, to minimize their impact, and to stay in control of your time. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your ability to stay focused determines the quality of your work, your relationships, and ultimately your life. So take charge. Set boundaries, turn off the noise, and dedicate your time to what truly matters. 9. Time vs. energy. When people talk about productivity, they often think it's all about managing time. But here's the reality: time is only part of the equation. It's not just about how much time you have, it's about how effectively you use it. And that effectiveness is directly tied to your energy. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you have 2 tasks to complete. Each task requires 4 hours of work. Now, say you tackle the first task while feeling drained, distracted, and running on caffeine fumes after a poor night's sleep. Those 4 hours are likely filled with inefficiency, errors, and frustration. Now, consider the second task. You approach it well-rested, focused, and energized. With your mind clear and your body alert, you finish the same work in half the time and you do it better. The difference? Your energy. Time is a finite resource, but energy is renewable if you know how to recharge it. The problem is, most people don't prioritize their energy. They burn the candle at both ends, sacrificing sleep, skipping meals, and pushing through stress. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted and unmotivated. If you want to make the most of your time, you must protect your energy. This starts with the basics. 1. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's during sleep that your body repairs itself, your brain processes information, and your energy reserves are restored. Skip on sleep, and you're essentially starting each day in the red. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. 2. Nutrition food is fuel. What you eat has a direct impact on your energy levels. A diet high in sugar and processed foods may give you a quick burst of energy, but it's followed by a crash. Focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods that sustain your energy throughout the day. 3. Physical activity, exercise might feel like a drain on your time, but it's an investment in your energy. Even a short walk can boost your mood, clear your mind, and improve your focus. The more active you are, the more energy you'll have. 4. Mental health stress is one of the biggest drains on energy. Constant worry, overthinking, and emotional turmoil can leave you feeling exhausted even if you're not physically active. Practice mindfulness, seek support when needed, and give yourself time to relax. But protecting your energy isn't just about physical and mental health, it's also about how you spend your time. The tasks you choose to focus on can either energize or drain you. If you're constantly doing things you dislike or that don't align with your goals, you're going to feel depleted no matter how much sleep you get. Ask yourself, are you spending your time on things that excite and inspire you? Or are you stuck in a cycle of tasks that feel meaningless and exhausting? When you align your time with your values and passions, your energy naturally increases. Another key factor is recognizing your personal energy pattern. Some people are morning larks, most productive and energized in the early hours. Others are night owls, finding their focus later in the day. Identify when your energy is at its peak and schedule your most important tasks during those times. Let's not forget about breaks. Pushing through without rest might feel productive, but it's counterproductive in the long run. Taking short, intentional breaks can help you recharge and maintain focus. Think of your energy like a battery. It needs to be recharged regularly to perform at its best. Finally, beware of energy vampires, people, tasks, or habits that drain your energy without giving anything back. It could be a toxic relationship, a job you hate, or even the habit of scrolling social media for hours. Identify these drains and take steps to minimize or eliminate them. Remember, time and energy go hand in hand. You can't make the most of your time if your energy is depleted. By prioritizing your well-being and aligning your actions with your values, you can maximize both. After all, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. 10. Live with a sense of urgency. There's a simple truth most of us try to ignore: our time is limited. None of us know how much we have left, and yet so many people live as if they have all the time in the world. They procrastinate, delay their dreams, and wait for the perfect moment. But here's the harsh truth: the perfect moment doesn't exist. Think about it. How often have you said to yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? Maybe it's starting a fitness journey, pursuing a career goal, or spending more time with loved ones. Tomorrow turns into next week into next year, and before you know it, years have passed. Living with a sense of urgency doesn't mean rushing through life or making reckless decisions. It means understanding the value of each moment and using your time intentionally. Every day you wake up is a gifted chance to move closer to your goals, to connect with the people you love, to create a life that matters. But here's the thing: urgency requires action. It's not enough to recognize that time is precious. You have to act on it. Stop waiting for all the conditions to be perfect. They never will be. There will always be challenges, distractions, and uncertainties. Start anyway. Take small, consistent steps. If you want to start a business, begin researching today. If you want to improve your health, take a walk today. If you want to build stronger relationships, make that phone call today. Waiting only wastes the time you can never get back. Living with urgency also means letting go of excuses. How often do we blame a lack of time, resources, or skills for our inaction? Successful people face the same limitations. They just refuse to let them be an excuse. They find a way. Here's a powerful exercise. Imagine you only had 1 year left to live. What would you do differently? Who would you spend time with? What goals would suddenly become urgent? Now ask yourself, why aren't you living that way now? Of course, living with urgency doesn't mean you should ignore rest or relaxation. It's not about packing every moment with activity. It's about making sure the moments you do spend align with what truly matters. Take inventory of your life. What are you spending your time on? Are those activities moving you closer to your goals or keeping you stuck? Are you prioritizing what's truly important, or are you caught up in distractions and obligations that don't serve you? Here's another way to think about it. If you continue living the way you are now, where will you be in 5 years? Are you building a life you'll be proud of, or will you look back with regret at the opportunities you missed? The truth is, time is unforgiving. It doesn't pause for anyone. Every day, every hour, every minute is a chance to move closer to the life you want or to let it slip away. The choice is yours. So start now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now take one step, no matter how small. Build momentum. Live each day with purpose and intention. Because the harsh truth is, we don't know how many days we have left. But we do know this: the time we have is priceless. Make it count. Your time is your life. How you spend it is how you live. If you want a better life, it starts with better decisions about your time. Don't let another day slip by without asking yourself, am I using my time wisely?